The other day, I was at a restaurant that serves like specialty coffees, donuts, pastries, breakfast sandwiches, things of that nature. And this particular restaurant has a walk-up window. They don't have any place where you can go inside the building, but you can walk up to the window and order, which is what I was doing. I was actually picking up an order for DoorDash. But the walk-up window is positioned relatively close to the drive-up speaker. And so I was able to overhear the people ordering their drinks and their food as I was waiting for this order. And there was one particular person ordering that really caught my ear. It was a woman, I don't know, maybe in her 30s, and she had in her passenger seat a young boy, probably 12 or 13 years old. And when it came time for her to place her order, she ordered like this. She said, he wants a whatever drink, and he wants you to make this change to how the drink is made, and he wants to make sure that it has such and such an ingredient. So she had finished ordering for this this boy, I presume, when she was saying he wants. And then she went on to say, your coffees, do you make them thus and such? Because normally they make them. And when she was saying they, I assume she meant other places that serve similar coffee items. She said, because normally they make them thus and such. So I need to know, do you make them thus and such? Because they do this. So I need you to do, or do you do? She actually never used the word I, and that's kind of the point. She said, do you do this? They normally do this. They normally make them this way. Do you make them this way? And her entire ordering procedure went through in that manner, referring constantly not to herself and what she wants or what she needs, but rather referring to he. He wants this, and they do this, and do you do this, and you need to do this because they do this, and so on and so forth it went. Now, when I pull up to a drive-up speaker, I tend to say, yeah, I need a large black coffee, I need an ice water, and I'd also like, whatever dessert. I say I. But this particular woman could not seem to say I. Or in other words, she could not, in my mind, this is how it looks to me, she could not take responsibility for what was being ordered, or how the whole procedure went down, or how the whole order took place. Everything needed to be someone else's responsibility. The boy over here, he wants this. He needs that. Now, if I'm inside and I can't see the vehicle and I'm listening to this over the speaker and I'm hearing this person say, he wants this and he needs that. In my mind, I'm thinking, who is he? Like, why are you telling me what he, I don't care about he. I don't care about him. I don't need to know who you're ordering for. Just tell me what you want. What do you want us to make for you? And I found this to be very interesting. Now, I have experienced this before, and what I'm about to say is not a 100%, oh my gosh, it will always be this way, so don't take it this way. But generally speaking, people who have high introverted feeling or introverted thinking will tend to be able to and be ready to say, I want, I need, I think, I believe. People who have higher extroverted feeling or extroverted thinking tend to see the responsibility as being on others. He wanted this. She said that. They told me that I ought to. You need to do this. And there is oftentimes a situation with those two different groups of people where the High FI, high TI people will oftentimes put more responsibility on themselves and feel very hesitant to push that responsibility off onto others. And the high extroverted feeling and extroverted thinking people will do quite the opposite. Now, this is seen to a larger degree when you're comparing IPs to EJs. EJs will often see, not always, this isn't a universal 100% all the time, but EJs will often see the situation as being their responsibility. They made the decision. They told me that I had to. They gave me permission. They are responsible. He's the one who caused it to be this way. She's the one who said, this is what we have to do. IPs, on the other hand, will tend to take a more, it's all my fault sort of perspective. Now, obviously, there are going to be great exceptions. Sometimes in moments of great trouble where an IP sees that if they take responsibility, everything could come crashing down, that IP may, under the stress and the pressure, try to blame someone else. Everybody does everything, and there are times when people point the fingers at other people, no matter what type they are. But with the EJ doing of this, I don't think it is meant so much as a blame situation. It is more a scanning the environment of the people and saying that the other people are just as responsible for the outcome or the way that everything went in this situation as I am. And we're sort of all in this together. That's what extroverted and extroverted thinking, when they're high, kind of do, is they kind of see everything as being a we're all in this together situation. IPs tend to have a much more loner mentality, and so they're much less likely to say, well, the action that I took or the words that I said were forced upon me by being part of some group dynamic, but rather I am responsible for my own thoughts and my own actions, and so those words are mine. And that comes out, perhaps it's going to play out interestingly and differently in high pressure situations, but look for it in the mundane. That's where I really find it interesting, not in the high pressure situations. People tend to do all kinds of different things in extremely high pressure situations, but look for it in the mundane. When you are ordering food, do you take responsibility for the fact that that food is the food you want? I want that coffee. I want it made a certain way. I don't want you to put this ingredient in it. I do want you to put this other ingredient in it. Or are you a person who tends to offset the responsibility for the entire situation onto the group dynamic or someone else entirely? He wants this. They do this thing. Do you do this thing? You need to do this thing because they do this thing, never admitting it's just what I want. Could you please do it this way? Because it's what I want. It's an interesting difference between the two. It isn't always the most over the top. It can be, like in the case of the lady in the drive-thru, and it isn't always all that important, but it's a very interesting observation that I have seen and you might look forward to, just for the fun of it, if nothing else. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video to be informational, entertaining, or useful, please click like. If you would like to donate financially to this channel because you've been watching it and benefiting from it, then please do so. That would be very helpful to me, and you can do so in the link that you'll find in the description below. And would you please subscribe if you have not already? Thank you so much, and have yourself an awesome day. Bye now.